Hey there, Michael here. Okay, before we start the show, I want to take a moment to tell you about the upcoming 423 Day Festival. 423 is the area code around here, and the 423 Day Festival is all about celebrating our local community. Obviously, you know I love Chattanooga, and if you're listening to this show to begin with, I bet you do too. We'll have local food and vendors, a cornhole tournament, and live local entertainment. And I'll be the MC. So come on down to Miller Park between 11 a.m. and 6 p.m. on April 23rd for the 423 Day Festival. I'd love to meet you, so please come find me and say hello. Again, 423 Day Festival in the afternoon of April 23rd at Miller Park downtown. Find out more at 423day.com. That's 423 like the numbers, day like the word, .com. I'll see you there. You're listening to My Part of Town, Chattanooga, a podcast tour of our city by the people who know it best. Each episode features a conversation about a different neighborhood or aspect of life here in the scenic city. My name is Michael Crosa. Thank you for stopping by. This episode is sponsored by Heather Hendrickson at the Hendrickson Agency, a local insurance agency properly protecting your most precious possessions. I'll tell you more after the show, but in the meantime, please enjoy this episode of My Part of Town, Chattanooga. Last time on My Part of Town, Chattanooga.
My part of town is the North Shore area.
It's a community favorite for shopping and restaurants and things like that.
Growing up, it always seemed like it was the cool place to live. The neighborhood itself has really great historical architecture.
People love that around here. That's one of the things that I love the most about Chattanooga.
We own the Chattanooga Cookie on the North Shore.
Personally, I have a sweet tooth.
Chocolate covered cherry and salted caramel and walnut.
With Coolidge Park, you've got family and kid-oriented stuff. There's a carousel, there's a splash pad.
It's a really beautiful park.
I feel like we have a lot of the benefits of kind of like an urban lifestyle, but like I said, it's definitely also got that kind of suburban, quaint feeling. There are kind of, I would say, two main areas.
In North Shore Part 1, we talked about the Fraser Avenue area. So welcome to North Shore Part 2, North Chattanooga. North Chattanooga is still the North Shore area, and you'll probably hear some references to things that we covered in the previous episode. To see it on a map, we'd be looking at the kind of neighborhoody streets north of the Fraser Avenue area, but before you get to Rivermont and Red Bank. This area north of Fraser Avenue has a lot of names depending on who you ask, and I asked Laura Slayton.
The area where Tremont Tavern and El Primo are is called Riverview. So when you get back there, that's close to the country club and the big golf course, and it's much larger homes. And then when you go towards the park and you go more towards the river from there, then you're going to get into, it's called the Fair Hills neighborhood. So those are more of the older but really well-maintained homes, but they're smaller.
Laura is a Chattanooga native who left but came back when it was time to raise her kids. Let's check in with somebody else who's a Chattanooga native who came back.
Okay, hi, I'm Valerie Duke. I am a singer, musical theater performer, dancer, actor, and mother.
Right on.
Here in Chattanooga, Tennessee.
Nice. Valerie Duke, who you just heard, grew up in Chattanooga but moved to New York City to pursue a music career. She got to work with one band in particular that I think is really, really cool, but we'll get there in a bit. Valerie decided to move back to Chattanooga when her first child was on the way.
Chattanooga, the outdoor, just the hiking and the scenery and stuff like that is worth living here alone. Going to these different spots up on Signal Mountain, or my husband loves to mountain bike. There are lots of mountain biking trails, climbing spots, stuff like that. That's really exciting. And then the restaurants are really ramping up, you know. They didn't used to be like this. It's great. You have more space than New York City.
Yeah.
A nice yard. Family's all here, so she's getting to meet I guess both of my children are getting to meet their family members and be around them constantly, which I think is really beneficial for a kid.
That's cool.
And then a lot of friends here, a lot of support. So
Yeah.
great schools.
Say more about that.
Normal Park. She goes so we live in North Chattanooga,
Okay.
which is zoned for Normal Park, which is how that neighborhood blew up. I think is that school just became really well known, and people want their kids in good schools, so they started buying up all the houses down there, and it is now North Chattanooga as we know it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right on.
Very different from the North Chattanooga of my childhood.
Yeah. What are some of your favorite places up there?
In North Chattanooga?
Yeah.
I go to base camp at least twice a week.
What is that?
It's a restaurant.
Okay.
They have beer there too, so that's nice. Just Americana style food. We get nachos, mac and cheese, wings. They have a wing night.
Okay.
This is my plug. They're my favorite place. I love them so much. Their staff is so kind to us and my family.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're really wonderful down there. So we go there a lot. The theater center is down there, so lots of access to acting classes for the little ones if they wanted, little dance classes. I take tap there myself from the infamous Lindsay Fusel.
Okay.
She's a local legend.
Nice.
Yeah, really excellent instructor. She taught me in high school.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, so I continue to see her so she can whip me into shape. So we go there. We go to Tremont Tavern. Is a must go to.
Nice.
Yeah. Daily Ration. We like the Daily Ration to go out there and sit on their patio.
Yeah. What about any outdoor spaces?
There's a new park. There are a couple of parks there for kids. Riverview Park, which is really close to Tremont Tavern, and then there's Colville Park. I don't know if that's what they call it. It's some sort of recreational center that actually has a very lengthy name. Francis B. Wyatt, I think. Okay. Recreational Center.
What'd you call it? Coleman?
Not Coolville. Colville. That's my nickname for the street. Colville. Colville Park is what we call it because it's on Colville Street.
Cool.
Yeah, so they have a little baseball field there and stuff like that for the kids to run around. Nice. It's nice, yeah.
The first time that I encountered Valerie was on stage. I mean, I wasn't, but she was. She was singing with the CSO Big Band, and that's Chattanooga Symphony and Opera, not Chicago. But anyway, it was such a fun show, and I remember that she took a moment between songs to call out to her children from the stage and to celebrate their presence with the audience. So then for me, it was really cool to sit across the table from her and hear that same excitement personally as she talked about raising her kids within a community.
Our street has a lot of, because we live on a cul-de-sac. Okay. So we have lots of families there with kids, and they all get to run out. They go knock on each other's doors. Fine. Like it's the Sandlot, and they go play. Yeah. They don't play baseball though.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah.
You're killing me small.
Yeah, it's like hoverboards and stuff like that. Yeah. All that cool stuff that I didn't have,
yeah.
I'm a little offended those don't actually hover, personally. But.
A few moments ago, Valerie told us about somebody who taught her tap dance in high school.
She taught me in high school.
Valerie went to school at a place called Chattanooga Center for Creative Arts. It's a high school and happens to be in this very North Chattanooga area. CCA, right?
Yes, okay. Chattanooga High School Center for the Creative Arts.
Okay, yeah. Tell me more about that.
Well, originally I was a dance major. My whole family is made up of dancers on my mom's side. Cool. So my mom, her two sisters, they were all ballet dancers. And then my mom stuck us in ballroom dance lessons. So when I went to CCA, you pick a major at CCA. It's kind of like Fame, the movie. Have you ever seen it? So it's about a performing arts high school, and you go in and you audition, and you pick a major, and if they like you, they let you in. I don't really know how it works now, but back then it felt very high stakes. Yeah, you're in sixth grade, and you're like, must plie properly. Yeah. But in the 10th grade, I switched to musical theater. Gotcha. And so that's where I kind of got my singing start, was in the sophomore year there at CCA. Cool. Super cool school. Yeah. Like kids just walking around in tights and tap shoes all day. It's pretty nice.
Now, a lot of people have heard of the song The Chattanooga Choo Choo.
Yes. So the first gold record ever was a Glenn Miller song called The Chattanooga Choo Choo.
And in what has to be one of the coolest hometown hero type full circle moments, Valerie got to work professionally with the Glenn Miller Orchestra.
So I got that gig back in the day. The Choo Choo used to have a restaurant called the Station House.
Cool.
It was the place to go. It was fine dining.
And when we say back in the day, are we talking about like when you grew up here or like the 1920s?
When I grew up here.
Okay.
Yeah. Different back in the day.
Well, yeah.
Back in my day.
Yeah, okay.
So I was working at a bar and they were like, have you seen this ad for this place called the Station House? They have singers that go up on stage and sing. They wait tables and then they go up and sing. And, you know, I immediately picture like Stardust Diner from New York City where they're like singing to tracks and everything's just like super hokey in a very, they're all really talented. But you know what I mean, where it's very catered to tourists. And then I went and it was not that. They had a live band. All of the songs that they picked, they tried to sing it as close to the original as possible and then play it as close to the original as possible.
Cool.
The manager would pick out songs. You would kind of give him a little CD, a little mixtape of the songs you might want, and he would pick the ones that he liked the best. And so I was always putting 40s music, jazz standards, stuff like that in my selection. Everyone else was singing like Michael Jackson and like Bonnie Raitt and all of those great tunes, but I was putting in 40s music.
Yeah.
And so he came to me and said, hey, the Glenn Miller Orchestra comes here every year. They've had a singer for 20 years now, but maybe, you know, she'll get sick and they'll need a standby.
Yeah.
Let me see if I can get you an audition. And so he did, and then I auditioned the day that singer retired. And then 3 months later, they emailed me, and asked me to come out.
Crazy.
Yeah. It was really just like everything lined up. Yeah.
Dang. So was it that one gig, or did you get to work with them for
Oh, I worked with them for a year. Yeah. I rode around on a bus
How cool.
for a full year. Yeah.
So you
traveling
sang
all over.
Chattanooga Choo Choo?
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. We sang in a group, and then I would just have like little snippets, like dinner in the diner,
Yeah.
That's it. Just that line. And that's how I ended up with them. We went all over the U.S. and Canada and Japan.
Cool.
Yes.
That's so cool.
And that's how I got into it.
Nice.
I've always loved it, but that's how I got into it professionally.
Yes. So what brought you back to Chattanooga?
I had my daughter.
Okay.
Yeah. So I was up in New York and then decided I wanted to come down and get something a little more stable than singing around in bars.
Sure.
So went to nursing school at Chattanooga State.
Okay.
Got a degree in nursing and then was working at Erlanger for a little while.
Nice.
Yeah.
I think Valerie's story is really cool, and if you get the chance to see her perform live, of course I highly recommend it. In the meantime, though, you can also find her on all of the usual social media platforms.
Okay, let's see. Instagram.com/Valerie Duke Music.
Okay.
YouTube.com/@Valerie Duke Music.
Okay.
I don't know why they did that. And then Facebook.com/Valerie Duke Music. I'm trying to keep a theme here.
Yeah. Thank you, Valerie. Now we'll be back with another episode of My Part of Town Chattanooga soon. But until then, please enjoy The Whiskey Won't Keep Me Warm by Valerie Duke.
I heard that.
Without you, the cold creeps in slow. The fire is burning, but the flame is low. The loneliness seeps to my bones. I spend my nights waiting on the day you come home. And another shot of whiskey won't do me harm. but that whiskey won't keep me warm. I think of you so far away. This feeling something's wrong, I just can't shake. The thought of losing you makes me ill. When I finally hear your voice, I get these chills. And another shot of whiskey won't do me harm, but that whiskey won't keep me warm. Got this picture of you sitting on my bedside, your bottle of cologne that I spray every night, sleeping with your pillow clutched tight, but it just isn't right, pretending I'm in your arms, because it's you who keeps me warm. Because it's you who keeps me warm.
This episode is sponsored by the Hendrickson Agency, a local insurance agency properly protecting your most precious possessions. The owner, Heather Hendrickson, is a friend of mine, and you'll be hearing her voice in different episodes of the show. Heather is a wonderfully warm and welcoming person. She's able to demystify the insurance buying process, even for people like me who, quite frankly, need a lot of help in that department. Heather says that she's not trying to have the biggest numbers, she's focusing on people. Her mission is relationships first, honest policy assessment second, and devoted service always. So whether you're looking for car, life, home, pet, or business insurance, I highly recommend Heather at the Hendrickson Agency. She even covers bikes and boats. I'll put her contact information in the show notes, and when you call the Hendrickson Agency for your insurance needs, tell them I said thanks for sponsoring the show. Thank you for listening to My Part of Town, Chattanooga. Our theme song is Chattanooga Skiffle by Lon Eldridge. Help with editing and social media provided by Kit Panaglima of Workergenics. Please be sure to subscribe and find us on social media so that you never miss an episode. I'd love to hear from you. So to tell me what makes this city special to you, or to learn more about what you heard, send an email over to mpotchattanooga@gmail.com. Thanks again for listening. I can't wait to tell you more in our next episode of My Part of Town, Chattanooga.
I'm a little offended those don't actually hover, personally, but
Yeah.
we were expecting like Marty McFly
exactly.
type stuff, yeah.
Exactly.
Except it's just two wheels. It's actually very hard. I hurt myself.